Hey fellas, how you doing? It's a little bit later in the afternoon of the 25th. It's Thursday, 25th of September. I'm going to talk to you about a class I gave probably an hour ago. And it'll have to do something with the levels of force or what's called pain compliance. Those used to be a couple of doctrines the law enforcement officers used to use to get people to obey and do what they want. I went to a class to help with the class just because one of the jiu-jitsu professors, he just he just needed help, and he needed help for an hour and a half till one of the guys could get there from his second job. Because if you believe that fighting pays a lot of money, no, you're very wrong. Unless you have a ton of sponsors. Anyways, let me get to the point. This was a women's group, and they are the El Paso's women's right and abused women, or blah 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 blah. There is a fallacy that far too many of you women believe in. I'm 6'2" without the dress shoes on. Dress shoes, I'm almost 6'4.5". It's because of the heel in the back of the shoe. It's like when you ladies claim you're like 5'8" and you're actually 5'6". It's the same thing. So the only difference is I'll admit it. Here's the most difficult thing it is to tell women who live in a deluded world. Their mind is deluded about the world they live in. Now, I'm not saying this to be a prick or an asshole, but it's an absolute fact. At my size and my weight, ladies, you can't force me to do anything. I can force you to do whatever I want you to do by what's called the levels of force or pain compliance. All I did is show a couple of ladies what's called a come along, a wrist lock, a simple fucking wrist lock. And you always have a couple of those ladies in the group who go a little bit harder than they're supposed to because they're trying to prove a point that they're as strong as I am. And both of them ended up on the floor, and I wouldn't let them get up off of the floor for like 30 seconds in front of the rest of the group. And they got humiliated, and I did it on purpose. If you actually believe as a woman you could physically fight me, 6 foot, about 250 pounds, I stay in good shape, I know how to box, I know how to wrestle, I know how to use a knife, a gun, a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, an M2 machine gun, an M240 Bravo, I know how to use a Mark 19, I know how to, man, he was just fucking mad. So one of them tried to, anyways, doesn't matter. They both ended up on the ground. Do you know how to do an inside leg trip, ladies? Do you know how to click a heel together? Do you know how to do a step through trip? You don't even have a clue about how many times. There's guys like me, I practice fighting every day of my life for the last 60 years. Every day, especially when you're in jail. And it's always the fat, big-headed, weird-haired girls they played basketball or soccer in high school or whatever else, and you can't talk to a grown adult doing this in their face. I don't put up with that shit. I don't need to be at this class. I only did it to help the guy out, and you're not gonna fucking trying to push me around and embarrass me. You're out of your mind. You don't even know how to stand properly to keep your balance. Anyways. I do not longer tolerate fools. I will not placate your delusions about your superiority or the fact that I have to have you in my life. You're out of your fucking mind. My wife pays half of the bills in this house. When she lost her job, I took care of her every day for 9 months. Every day. And I can do that for the rest of her life without ever going back to work. I think a lot of us guys have just had enough of your utter bullshit about you being equal. You're not equal to me. I can force you to do what I want, and you can't do that to me. Unless you get to drop on me with a gun and a taser, and you better be able to employ it. You better be over 21 steps away from me. Not 21 steps. You better be over 6 to 10 feet away from me and have the round in the gun chambered. It's so hard. And there are the professor, the jiu-jitsu professor inside his own BJJ Academy couldn't get through a full sentence without one of these arrogant women interrupting. And you know what? Of course I hip-tossed a couple of them. Of course I made them hit the mat. Of course I wanted to see their eyes get this big like that. You threw me on the ground. You did what? Yeah. Ladies, if you continue to live in a delusional state about your place in our world, sooner or later you're going to run into somebody that's not going to play the game you're playing with everybody, and it's going to cost you way more than you think. Can you force a man to do anything you want? No. Can a man force you to do what he wants? Now, I'm not talking about you 6 foot tall, 400 pound, heavyweight, sumo wrestling women. I can definitely take you out as well because you can't move out of the way in time. But if you're like a 5'2" guy and some 400 pound overweight chick squishes you to the wall, it may take him a while to get out of that, but you better pray he never gets out. You better pray it never gets out. So, anyways. The world we all live in operates on the ability to force people to do things they don't want to do. Say that again. The world we live in operates on force. That force is employed by men, not women. You women running around here in police uniforms. Get the fuck out of here. There's no woman on planet Earth that could arrest me. You can't make me comply. You can't make me do anything. And if I get a hold of you, you are screwed. So it is what it is. Ladies, it's enough. 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 You chicken finger. Enough. Talking like, oh, you don't know me. And all of a sudden you're on the ground looking up at me like, yeah. All right. I may not post, fuck it, I'm going to post this. I'll post it whatever I want to post it. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. I'm just, and I told him after that, and keep your money. I don't have the patience to deal with stupid people. And that's why I stay alone. That's why I try to spend a lot of time by myself. I'm like one of those guys, in case of emergency, you break a glass and pull me out and turn me loose on people. That's how I feel about it. Anyways. The viewing I went to last night for one of my good friends' mother. I was the biggest guy in there. I was the largest human being in that room. And then I go today, and I'm out on the mat, and I got some lady. Humble pie. Humble pie, ladies. Modern women, you know what? Modern women deserve at least 2 slices of humble pie. Like a 4 and a G-string from West Texas, El Paso. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.